Hello students, welcome to the EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Rashmi Sharma, Head of the Department OB and HR, Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Delhi. Today we will learn the module HR as a Profit Center. This module is from the paper Contemporary Issues in HRM and Future Trends. The learning outcomes from this module would be an introduction to the HR as a cost center or a profit center, ways by which HR impacts an organizations, strategies to convert cost center to profit center, making HR a profit center, providing HR practices and checking their impact. After completing this module, the students will be able to understand the importance of HR as a profit center, learn the strategies to convert the HR center to profit center, make HR a profit center and measure its impact. Human resource management, or simply HR, is a function in organizations which is designed to maximize an employee's performance in service of their employer's strategic objectives. HR is primarily concerned with how people are managed within the organization, focusing on the policies and their systems. We should understand how and what are the ways by which HR impacts an organization. We must know our business. How does our company make profit? If we can't articulate this, in that case we must meet someone who can explain it to us. We can only positively impact the bottom line if we know how our company truly operates and also how to hire the best candidates who would fit into that structure. If we are responsible for developing the training for our organization, then we should engage in competitive learning. However, we need to truthfully answer this question, that is, does it add value to the organization in a way that translates into profitability? Hiring and engaging the right talent is another question that needs a right, factual and truthful answer. To figure it out, it would be important to find key people in your organization who can help you understand how this newly hired employee or employees are affecting the company as they become tenured professionals. Good leaders and profitability always go hand in hand. Leaders drive employee performance. So when you look at great leaders and their attributes, it's easy to draw the line between them and increase the profits. Having understood how leaders and profitability go hand in hand, let's understand what should be the competencies of a leader. The leader should have a clear vision, follow a result-focused strategy, lead transformation, be a model for integrity and character, communicate effectively, inspire high performance, build relationships, and develop a strong professional expertise. We live in an age of unbelievable technological advances. If your HR department is not taking advantage of the technology and not using in its innovative manner, then certainly it's falling behind the competition. Your brand is a promise of an experience. What experiences are you creating for your employees and customers is a question that requires to be asked. How can you help shape the experience customers have with your organization? A positive experience certainly yields higher profitability. If you have to execute with excellence, you must think about your favorite product or service. Why do you go back to that experience? Determine how you can make that same connection with customers and your brand. Ask yourself, what can be refined in my people, process and system to increase our level of excellence. So, how do you derive or drive profitability in your organization? How are you going to link your HR success with a return on investment? And most importantly, how are you communicating it with your executives? We must understand the strategies that would help us to convert a cost center to a profit center. We assume that accounting terminology requires the categorization of specific business function as either a revenue producing or revenue consuming. If we do that, we are all on the same team when it comes to the overall success of the business. Everyone has a critical role to play, and every department, including the HR department, can improve the financial performance of the company. These are the strategies that can be followed to convert a cost center to a profit center. Killing the overhead. You can make a substantial impact on the bottom line by streamlining a process, renegotiating the terms with the supplier, adopting a more efficient method of operation, or otherwise working smarter. Second, invent revenue. Do you have excess capacity, inventory, or building space that could be sold out or leased? Many cost centers have been able to offset some of their experiences or expenses by creatively generating the unexpected revenue. Support strategy. Play a more active role in supporting the company's strategy, and you will help the company sell more of its product and services. When organizations have to think about making the HR as a profit center, their focus should be to maximize HR and training program, as these best practices enhance the short-term productivity and reinforce a culture of thinking and working smarter and more strategically. Rather than just documenting a nice to have selection process on paper, make it a business priority to consistently use a due diligence program for recruitment that consists of a skill assessment, structured behavioral interviewing, and reference checking. Let's understand how we can harness an internal talent to streamline the human capital management and organizational development. There are two aspects to this principle. First, use an employee referral system to help identify and attract the top talent. Your employees can be highly effective means of sourcing the candidates using either a monetary or a non-monetary incentive program. Second, organizations can leverage their existing talent in new ways. Companies can save time and money by expanding their notion of the traditional workplace to a workspace. This is where telecommuting comes into play. We must understand that employees have market intelligence. Employees are strategically placed to notice business issues and customer issues that managers with a higher level focus can miss. Organizations should tap into the knowledge gleaned by its teams. Two effective practices are a quarterly or a biannual employee opinion survey and a structured method of knowledge transfer for the employee who's leaving or who's exiting. Employee retention equals money retention. Employee training and professional development doesn't cost, it pays. It should be treated as an investment. Customer satisfaction actually follows from employee satisfaction and engagement. Now more than ever, Employee loyalty and performance hinge on the perceived job security and future employability. Let's understand how we can promote and reinforce a culture of doing the right thing. We must focus on opportunity, focus on the future and not the past, focus on the priorities that support our values, focus on the long-term fixes rather than the quick fix, focus on problem preventing rather than problem solving, focus on system-wide solution rather than a local solution, focus on high impact priorities that matter to many people. Focus on the breakthroughs rather than perfecting the status quo. Focus on feeding your elephants, that is the big important stuff, and starving the ants. Learn and live the 80/20 rule. The 19th century Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto's rule states that 80% of all that happens at work is really the result of just 20% of effort. Though developed as a means of combating the ever increasing complexity of life, multitasking often results in perpetual oscillations between starting and stopping without even completing a single task efficiently. Time blocking, on the other hand, allows the employees to start, focus, and finish the task in hand. Reconsider and restructure the internal touch points. Consider reducing the number of face-to-face meetings. Ask yourself if a meeting is absolutely necessary or will a phone call just do the same. Use technologies like Skype to allow the conference calls to be conducted at little or no cost, even amongst the team members in a worldwide offices or people who are telecommuting. Revisit and streamline your internal practices to reduce the obvious and innocuous time wasters that hinder productivity and profitability. Look out for some common roadblocks like or the time wasters can be unscheduled visitors, socializing unnecessarily, lack of information, excessive paperwork which is not even relevant, communication breakdown either by channel or by medium, lack of policies and procedures in absence of a formal channel, lack of competent personnel working either in the team or supervisor or your subordinate, and of course red tapeism, which eats up most of your time. There are some internal time wasters as well, that is your own inability to manage few things, procrastination, failure to delegate, unclear objectives, failure to plan and set priorities, crisis management, poor scheduling, lack of self-discipline, attempting to do much at once, lack of relevant skills are some of the internal time wasters when you are unable to manage your own self. Hire and retain leaders are able to maintain the perspective in talent management. For example, upcoming and established managers often misunderstand the level of line associate lifestyles and do not provide adequate experiences. Bring the classroom to the employees. Every organization must have a dedicated training room or learning center for all the associates to use, complete with a PC and internet access for online courses. In the evening hours, the organization can team up with the community college and offer classes for neighboring hotel associates, for example. An engaged employee will engage the customers, and this is the principle that one has to understand and follow. The impact on retention and motivation to increase the productivity is unbelievable. Organizations have to focus on motivating their own employees first. Automatically, the customers will be motivated to stick to the product or service. While proving the HR practices impact, we can have the following observations and viewpoints. It's important to compare and contrast. Use a split sample or a control group. Instead of applying a new HR program to the entire team or division, apply it only to half to demonstrate the relative impact of the program. Before and after contrast. Measure the employee's performance just prior to the program implementation and again after the implementation, and try to show the contrast in performance. Demonstrate a correlation. Show a direct correlation between the increased usage of a tool by managers and employees and an increase in productivity, revenue or profit. Results after implementation show that employee performance is high immediately after the program is implemented. Let's take some examples by function. Recruitment is the first function. This demonstrates that a newly hired worker produces more than the average workers, that is, one already on board in the staff, by directly comparing the productivity in jobs where output is easily measurable. Training is the next function. We must split the sales team and provide one half of the sales team with increased sales training. Do nothing to the other half, and then you can contrast the difference in sales between those with increased training and the salespeople without the training. This would help you to understand the difference. Compensation is the third function. Show that giving a worker a 10% raise increases their productivity by more than 10%. Provide evidence that as the percentage of your employees' pay that is tied to performance increases, so does their output and productivity. Employee relations is the another function of HR. It demonstrates that problem employees and bottom performers increase their performance and at least become average or better performers within a year's time after the employee relation works with them. Work-life balance is catching up in a big way nowadays as an HR function. It demonstrates that as the percentage of workers that take advantage of work-life balance program increases, so does the productivity in their department or division. A human resource information system demonstrates a positive correlation between the increased availability of the online HR answers and conversely a decrease in the amount of wasted hours that employees and managers report that they spend looking for answers within the HR department. Calculate the economic value of reducing those wasted hours. In this module, we have learned that how most senior managers can't make the connection between HR and happy employees and the company profits. HR unfortunately is looked as a cost center simply because it does not generate direct revenue. But that's certainly not the right way of looking at the HR department. Thank you.